Hi everyone, welcome to Cosmic Turtles. My name is Tina. Today we're doing a collective read again. And let's see what we got in the collective. I'm sitting by the water again, and I like the water because it allows a flow. We have all those elements inside of us. And the fire is the fire of our desires and our passions. And that's something to focus on. That's something you get to focus on while you balance your other elements. You get grounded with the earth. You moderate the flow of thoughts that you can pick and choose the ones you want to focus on. And that's like the air sign. And then that's where you can get all your ideas and breakthroughs and aha moments and inspirations. And also there's the water, which is your emotions. And keeping that balanced and having that inner sense of peace because you've gained some understanding about yourself, it helps with the journey. It helps with, you'll encounter things that used to trigger you or bring you down to your knees or totally block you, and with the ease that you're focusing on and the inner peace that you're wanting for yourself, and you're doing the action steps to getting there. So congratulations, all of you that are slowly but surely, step by step, getting there for yourselves. And then when you encounter life, it's not so scary anymore to walk into the unknown, right? Because you trust yourself. Okay? One of the ways to trust yourself is to recognize your own value without falling into the ego. The ego is your friend, but you, the observer, the higher self, the you that is you, uh, that's the part that's in the driving seat, right? Your ego's in the back seat or passenger, but it's, and you need a certain amount of ego in a 3D experience so that you're able to do your self-care, right? That's one of the reasons it's there. It's attached to your personality. But your personality, you can change it. So, anywho, I'm going too far and I'm learning to funnel through and stay with one subject matter. And also, I am becoming more aware of the words I'm using because I just said the word trying. And trying means I have doubt if I use that word. So I'm blessed to be able to grasp this for myself. So I'm changing the internal talk slowly and realizing when I use a word that's limiting, and I'm doing my best. That's a good one. All right, so let's see what else we got for the collective. Look at that. We start off with the 10 of Cups. That is ultimate emotional fulfillment. That is like a goal of yours. I sense in the collective to have that happy family, happy, feeling satisfied, feeling happy, emotionally fulfilled in all that you do. And whenever it comes time to that, you know there's a challenge, you're not resistant about it anymore. You're going right through it because you know if you face it and you get through it, it'll be done faster. And you have had wisdom extracted from it. You'll have breakthroughs from it. You'll be enhanced from it, and you feel good about yourself. Right? So we start with that card, which is very nice. Now it's about maintaining it. So you'll have moments, but it's about maintaining it for a longer period of time every time. It's like when you're increasing your vitality. A little bit every day makes a big leap at the end of the week, right? All right. 3D is our physical reality. 4D is the time factor, because in spirit there's no time. 5D is the spirit realm. And then there's other, but so far we're in the 3, 4, 5 that we operate in on a day-to-day basis, and it fluctuates. And it's to make a balance between these things within you, or doing your best to acquire the information so you can have the understanding for yourself. Okay? These are words that are channeled, that are coming through. That's part of my experience as well. That's part of other people's experience, because I'm seeing a pattern, that there's a theme, and it could be because that's how I'm aligning myself, that I'll meet people that are having similar things going on in their life, different in the details, however, similar in the experience and what it brings you to. So I'm sharing these things. It's time to share these things, because these are the things that were not talked about very much. And these are the things that a lot of people have questions about within them, but they don't know exactly where to go. And sometimes you'll meet people and you'll say things and they'll look at you weird, and then it causes you to self-doubt and you're not sure. So you'd like to find that type of support that is open, and they do exist. Seek and you shall find. That is a true statement for anybody that's been on this earth for a while. That's really there. Uh, and and the trust building exercises that you have with the universe plays with you. And there's trust building exercises, and the only thing that's required of you is to become aware of these little things that happen that almost seem magical, but there's a true science behind it. There's a real law of the universe that's in operation, and the universe is benevolent, and the universe got your back, and things happen for you. And if it feels like it's happening to you, that's because there's still some resistance within you to look at and be aware of, and to push through. All right, next card, Two Cups. This is a card that represents, yes, good relationships with others, reciprocity, like give and receive, a good flow. That's between friends, it could be between partners, work colleagues, it could be between lovers, it's between more than one person, right? The relationships that you have in life. And it's also, because I do internal readings, it's also about your relationship with yourself, uh, your ego and your spirit. And then you have your observer part. And there's a holy trinity there: the receiver of energies, the giver of energies, and the observer of energies. And the observer is the one that senses all of it. So it's about making that balance, aligning. Some people also refer to this as the divine feminine energies and divine masculine energies, and making that integration within you so you feel whole. And not complete, but whole, and always in a state of expansion. Okay, so because we're never done, we keep going. And this is and it's very connected to the emotions, because the emotions, what I've noticed, is the fuel that has you take action. Either emotions will have you backtrack and go into self-sabotage, self-denial, or it'll do the shift and it'll push you into walking into the unknown, not fearlessly, but courageously. Meaning you may be scared shitless still to walk into the unknown or do something for the first time that you never done, but you decided and you're scared, but with courage you'll get through it. That's what courage is. So let's see what else we got for the collective. I was gonna say for the community, and yes, it's a community of like minds, and we're all finding each other and connecting with each other, or even if it's just being present, even if it's just listening. If you're the receiver, you're still present in this moment here. And whenever you're ready, you can give too. And whenever you're ready, you can share as well. So it's all up to you. And that's very empowering. Although it's scary because it puts all the responsibility of you on you, but you got help. And that's what I want to create, is help people realize you got that internal guidance that's always there for you and that knows you the best. Because people on the outside of you, others, they haven't been in your shoes all this time and understand exactly your perspective, but they can empathize, and they can be compassionate in seeing the similarities in each other's experience. And maybe you lived something and overcame something, and when you share that, you may fill in a gap for somebody else, and the other person could do the same and maybe fill in a gap for you, because we're all a collective, but we're helping each other out to help ourselves with the integration of self. There's moments you need to be in solitude. That is true on our journeys. And then there's moments with the social aspect, which we're gathering information and uh, just enjoying the experience of life, whether it's a new or whether it's same old. We're learning how to enjoy our own experiences, right? Because it's with joy inside and the recognition that there's good things in every day. Every day may not be the best, but or good, it may not be felt that way, but there's something good in every day. And that's what your inner focus or your own self-discipline could be about, to get away from those loopy thoughts, to distance yourself or have those experiences start distancing themselves from you, those drama, gossip, toxicity. It's because you've removed yourself. First, you're going to remove yourself from the experience in your mind. Then you're gonna make that choice, because emotionally you've been shut down because it's just not resonating with you anymore. Then you'll take the physical action to remove yourself from an area. It may take some time, but you'll get out of it, and then you'll get into the unknown, and then it'll be what is the toughest part for most people is releasing the emotional attachments that had to do with that experience. The emotions, once they're released and you extracted and seen the wisdom of why you went through that, you'll never have to encounter that type or that same kind of experience ever again. And that's the beauty of it. That's a guarantee. Unless, because you're knowing, right? Unless you call it back. So it's up to you. You're responsible for your own well-being. Right? So this is all channeled just off the top of my head, what I've been learning so far. There's a new energy coming in, a sense of wanting to share and socialize and connect with people, and it's exciting. And even though it's not fully manifested around me, I like it that it's gradual and it's step by step. If I have 2 friends, I could go there, plan my day. If I have 100 friends, then I'm like, oh boy, okay, let's do a Facebook Live and I'll connect. Let's figure out a different way of connecting, because you can't split yourself up in 100 in one day, right? So things are step by step, gradual. You make your own list of priorities once you know what your values are. So knowing yourself is definitely a big part of this journey, to have a little bit more ease. And it's not what others tell you who you are, it's what you discover about yourself who you are. Now, the how to discover it, that's where you can go and connect with people, and they share their story, and you can see the wisdom in their stories. A lot of us, it's easier to see, uh, it's easier to look from the outside and see what the problem is in someone else's life, right? Than it is to go and put yourself as the observer, because you really have to connect with the observer part to see what you're doing in the 3D. You got to put yourself in the high 5D. So you're being multidimensional at that moment. You're seeing yourself from the eyes of your best self, your higher self. And then you get to see where the problems is. But it's tough to do if you're just sitting there and you're in the middle of it, right? It's really so the first steps in that case, if you see yourself being anxious or depressed or really stuck in a feeling that's uncomfortable that you don't like, first is sit in it, but bring yourself to a calm state to have mental clarity and you're able to see more clearly what's going on inside of you. So it's a step-by-step process, a lot of practice, self-discipline, determination, and support is something that I want to create, a community of support and uh, people that are like-minded, people that this would resonate and bring it together and be support for others that are going through a path you already went through but have an understanding and maybe what you can share can help them. Okay? And through this, I'd like to help people with developing your own self-confidence, your own sense of worth, and that's what I'd like to offer because I've done it for myself and still doing it. And now I'd like to share the methods I've used with others. And that I'm going to create something and it will be available and people will be able to be part of this process, this journey, this experience. Okay, so let's see what else we got. I'm shuffling, nothing came out yet. We got 2 cards out. I usually bring out 5. Where's the collective at this moment? Ooh, at this moment, swords are the realm of the mind. Pages are messengers. So there may be some messages that are coming through your mind. Now, there's a split here. There's one side where your ego speaks to you, and most times when it does, it seeks to self-sabotage and trigger and send you into anxiety or depression, and that's because it's been in the driver's seat for too long, right? So maybe the message is you're observing your thoughts and you're seeing that, and then you're allowing that to just dissolve by just observing it without any judgment. And then you're choosing your thoughts and getting into the habit of better thoughts for yourself. On a 3D level, this could be a message coming to you. It could be synchronicity through signs and omens. A message comes to you. It answers a question you've been having. And you get a clear message. Like I had one not long ago. I knew from a time before I had went to a ceremony. And in that ceremony, we did a thing together, and it was a lot of breathing and then going in deep, and it's how to focus inside, and then it's said to reach deep inside, and then when we're breathing we will see an image of our helper. And I believe in the spirit animal helpers, and this was a buffalo. And this was years ago, and right now at this moment it said that the buffalo would be my guide. But just like anything in the spirit realm, if you want their help, you need to consciously ask inside. You need to. You get to do that. If you're not asking, you won't have any answers until you ask. You got to do those steps for yourself. You get to do those steps. And so I was listening to a little course I'm taking. And the gentleman that was speaking and sharing his experience, he used the buffalo as an example. And there was my message. It was to reinforce a past message, to put it back into action, to put more focus in it and allow that to grow, to connect with my guide and allow my guide to bring me the messages that I need so I can get to the next step towards my goal. So it come back to me years later, but it come back to me, and it it made you it made me feel like, wait a minute, I know this. And then I listened, and he spoke about something interesting. And I like using the elements and nature and the weather to explain feelings until that's the basic way I could learn it, until I got actual words for certain feelings and emotions. He explained something about the buffalo. He says, when a storm is on the horizon and it's coming towards you, what the buffalo does, he senses it. He doesn't turn around, run away, or turn around and seek for shelter. What he does, he lines up for the storm and he runs right into it, because he knows that he will get through it faster if he faces up to it. So that was my message from my guide, and it came out through the universe as a reminder through another person that was sharing something, and it just hit me. And his explanation was like a more in-depth uh, understanding of what the buffalo spirit as my guide means and how I could use it. At first, I just had an imagery. Buffalo. Everybody's saying, oh, wow. And I didn't know why. I just knew that with the buffalo spirit, I wasn't able to dance real fast and jump around. Some had gazelles, and some were, it was fast moving for them, and for me it was so slow and heavy. And I was like, I'm trying to go faster, but I can't. It's something's, I'm being told to stay here and just move one step at a time. Well, when it's time to run, I guess a buffalo can do that too. So it said, my time will come when I need to get through. And this is now. This is the message that came to me actually today. And I'm sharing that with you because through signs and omens of things that you deeply connect with and believe in, those signs and omens are there for you to take notice. And that's how the universe loves each one of you individually so much that you could have 10 people, and these 10 people went for a walk in the woods, and each one of these people had one thing that they noticed, and it was something that had to do with them individually. And everyone had the same walk in the woods. Everyone noticed everybody else's signs, but the one sign really got you here. That's who you are. And it's just as valuable as anybody else's. You see? The universe caters and makes it for you individually, because you're needed. That one grain of sand on the beach is just as important as the other one. I think, just a thought off the top of my head, here's my inner child saying, I think that's why some beaches they say don't take the sand, because they're important and they're part of that beach and you can't take them away. This is my inner child likes to, and I've allowed my inner child to interact and to have a communication, and this was part of my healing journey. I needed for myself for have something to hold on to while I'm doing shadow work. I needed to be real strong in my inner child, because that's my source of joy and youthfulness and connection to all that is. So when I went face up to the shadow, I'm a little child, and this little child is actually fearless. There's no fear in this child. It learned fear, so it became something that I experienced later. But that first initial inner child that got brought into this 3D existence, their energy is so close to the divine, to the spirit world, that it hasn't fully integrated in this 3D yet. So it still carries that beautiful, fresh energy. And that's why a lot of people, when they see a baby, right away, oh, a baby. and that, because the baby radiates that closeness to the divine. And as we go in their experience, we kind of put pieces and parts of us in shadow because of what other people said and what we were led to believe about ourselves. And the only one that could put that stuff in the shadow box was you. But you didn't know that then. Now we're starting to learn this. It's becoming more and more, and people are grouping together, trying to help each other out. They're they're doing it, and they're seeing the results and how this community feeling, having support group, like-minded people. And even though there's a group, you may be in this group for maybe a few months, and then you learned everything you needed to learn. Then you go in another group that they're learning something else. But in this group, there's new people coming in. So there's never a lack of people, and it's okay if they journey to another group. Nobody needs to be offended by that because each person is doing they're following their own inner guidance. So there's people will come, people will go, but even though they go, it'll open up the space for somebody else to come in. And then if you want to be a life coach or a helper of sorts, you will find that one thing that could be a whole bunch of variety of skills into one thing, and then you help these people coming through at the same time. It helps you. So, okay, what else do we get for the collective? There's so much nice energy. It's also springtime, and that just makes me talk, 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 talk. So, okay, we got the 3 next cards. Let's start with, some of you are feeling, this is the card of the sleepless nights, anxiety, fighting yourself. It's in the mental realm. Running back in your mind what people said. It could have been miscommunication. It could have been said in a perspective that they understand but may not have been able to communicate it in a way that, you know what I mean? Like, I like using the analogies of the weather system to explain emotions, because in a general sense, if it's raining, people feel sad. In a general sense. But for me, rain is soothing. Okay, so it depends, right? So if someone says, I feel like a rainy day, and what they mean is they feel sad, and but in my head, it'll be, oh, you feel soothed? And it's like, no, you didn't get me at all. You don't understand me. No, I don't understand uh, how you perceive it, but I'd like to, you know? So it's the communication, and a lot of this is anxiety, it's self-doubt, lack of self-worth, um, feeling that the world owes you because you've given everything to all these people and these people didn't give back to you. It had nothing to do with them. It's just at the moment, we didn't realize that they would never be able to help us in the way that we helped them. So it's a time to maybe change circles of friends or change something. It's a reflection on what we need to do to better align ourselves to where we want to go. Uh, this is the card of, this is what is being presented to the collective right now. You're feeling it, you're in it, it's being reflected by other people's interactions because you're feeling this way. Your magnet is set in a way to attract everything that you're feeling already, and you're trying to get away from it. You're like, and this is a moment, an opportunity to say, wait a minute, I can change this. I can change this inside first. And it's about that self-love, self-care, to soothe those loopy thoughts, change your focus, use your self-discipline, get into practices that are helping, and keep at it. Okay? So this is a moment of truth in a way. The swords also represent truth, but it represents the truth of what's been going on has been an illusion all this time. It sounds like an oxymoron, but it is something that people really feel. So this is the middle of the... It's also a 9, which means you're at the end of this. You know, for some people, the expression would be, I'm at my end's width about this. I'm at the end of the rope. I'm at the end of the line. And you're making that internal decision to let go of that, or not give it any more of your energy, any more of your focus. You're almost turning a blind eye to that, but not putting yourself in denial. You're willing to face to those pieces and parts of you that feel broken, and to give it that love, and to allow it to grow and to integrate. For all the times you felt you had no support, that part of you exists. And that internal conversation is you're telling that part that you're loved, you're supported. Every time we feel we're going to go into anxiety, this is what we're going to do. A practical application. Breathe deeply. And then the inner self starts being soothed. And then that part doesn't become as loud. It becomes... and then you get stronger. I hope I'm using my words right. I'm still working on words, and I have, and also to slow down everything that's coming through, because sometimes I get so excited and I want to say everything, and sometimes I have no words, and the words are just not coming out. So it's about being self-aware. The next card. Stand your ground for what you desire and what you're passionate about. Okay, this is the stand your ground. This is like playing King of the Mountain. You know, when we were kids and we played King of the Mountain on top of a snow hill, and whoever tried to come up, we pushed them down, and then I'm up here. Someone would come behind you and push you. It was like, oh, now they're on top of the mountain. But this is your sacred mountain. Nobody can push you off unless you allow them. That's where the sense of empowerment comes in. Recognizing your value and your own sense of worth, and where you choose to root and ground yourself, okay? And doing it with wisdom and the guides and everything, the inner openness, okay? And this is not forceful. This is compassionate action. Yeah, there's a difference. One is you're putting so much pressure on yourself that you lose the joy of life. You won't feel like you're following your passions. So it's about knowing the difference and doing the shift, just the little tweaking, the little, because I'll always, in what I experience, I always had two. I had this or that, a choice of this or that. And then I was like, okay, so back then I didn't know, so I get, well, this. And I go for what seemed to be the best one at the time, and then whoop, backtrack, and I'm back to this or that. And then I'm like, I've tried the other one. I'll do the other one. And then, oh, okay. And then I learned discernment, that I can sense ahead of time, because my spirit is already in a place where time doesn't exist, and it can see, sense, feel the past, the present, the future. So now I rely and trust in my upper healing, upper consciousness, the higher self. I trust in the divine guidance. And I know now that to hear it properly, I need to self-discipline and align myself and self-soothe my heart, my brain, my mind, like the thoughts, my heart, my thoughts, and the little pineal gland in the middle, your third eye. All those three acts as a trinity. When they're all coherent, when they're all harmonized, And usually through breathing, you can get yourself there real quick. From that moment, you got clarity. That's when you listen. And intuition sends the info through. Okay. The next one. This is the Miser card. It's the Four of Pentacles. The way I see it is that pentacles are things you value. You value your clarity of mind. You value the openness of your heart. You value what you stand for and your groundedness. Okay? So your values and like your groundedness, being present, consciously aware. So these are the main fours, the four pillars of being. There's four pillars there of being. And this shows to me in the 3D, it shows that be watchful of your spending. When you get a moment that you're excited and feeling good, you tend to get generous and you totally forget about your responsibilities. Then you end up looking at your bank account. It's like, oh, shoot, I spent too much. Then you go into self-sabotage and beating yourself up. Don't do that. Or if you notice you're going towards that, stop it before it gets there. If you notice you're in the middle of it, stop it whenever you notice. If it's after the fact, remind yourself that it's great you noticed, and next time you'll be spot on. And then time after that, you'll realize just before it happens so it doesn't happen. Okay? Trust in yourself. This is a similar path for many humans here on Earth. It's part of our collective evolvement. So, in the these two come together. Stand your ground, keep your focus on what you truly desire and your passions, while maintaining and keeping everything balanced of what you value. All right? These come together. All right. Oh, at the bottom, I hear ducks. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune. You do all these steps for yourself, and you do it as you feel is right for you. You'll see results on how the universe tilts things in your favor. Usually when you're on your right path, everything flows, and it starts in pieces until there's less and less of a gap, and then it's more of a flow. And it's not easy to maintain, okay? You're not going to get it tomorrow. You'll start getting the first steps. It's like when we started walking. We started at 5, 6, 7 months, and by the time we were a year and a half, we could run, okay? So it's a few, and never mind about time. That adds a stress. You don't need to go by the time factor. The time factor here in the 3D, the reason why we have it is so we can learn things gradually and do the step-by-step and build up our patience, our compassion. So that's one of the reasons. It wasn't meant to put the big pressure on you. Although the way we've been brought up and society operates is that time is important, and yes, it is. But this is your gift to give to others. Time. Your time. Okay? So these little steps in no time will become a leap, and you'll know more about yourself. You'll feel better about yourself. You'll have better interactions. You know when the universe is telling you, good job, because things are aligning. Okay? And even your ego that you made your best friend is enjoying the ride as you drive your own vehicle through this life. Your ego becomes supportive. It takes a while to flip that one. That's the stubborn party, but that's okay. We need that too. Okay? And then it'll be the end of the old you. This is the death card. You'll finally get to that point and there'll be a momentum and you'll just enjoy it, you'll notice that that was the moment. It was the end of the old you and the beginning of the new you. Okay. All right. Collective, this has been your message. I deeply enjoyed this interaction with all of you. It's a little bit longer than usual. So I'm pleased with this. And let me know what your thoughts are if you care to share. All right. This is Tina from Cosmic Turtles, and we'll see you next time.